Welcome to Soulful Practices podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Holling-Brooks, and over the past 20 years, I have been on a journey of healing and awakening. I'm also a coach and practitioner for clients on their journey of unbridling their true self. The number one question I'm asked is, what meditation or practice will help me reach my goals? While there is no one meditation or secret mantra that will unlock our own awakening, there is a doorway that will lead us there. And that's the doorway of learning and cultivating the skills of self-reflection and contemplation. Each episode of this podcast offers you pocket teachings and practices that you can implement right away to help you courageously connect with living your authentic soul-led life. Let's dive into this week's episode. Hey everybody, Michelle Holling-Brooks here, and I am here with a new episode of episode 34. Yeah, 34 of Soulful Practices podcast. And this podcast, we bring you different quotes and spiritual teachings and break them down into everyday practices that you can get up off that cushion, take from that meditation into your everyday lives, and allow your life itself to bring forward both the growth, the healing, and the awareness that you have been searching for. And so this week I am bringing forward a quote from an author and kind of internet sensation, Hal Elrod, who wrote The Miracle Morning. And so many of you, if you've been in self-help and development field and personal growth and development for a while, you have probably heard this book. A coach has probably recommended it to you. And the quote comes from there and says, "Have faith in the magic and miracles of life, for only those that do get to experience them." Just feel into that one for a second. Have faith in the magic and miracles of life, for only those that do get to experience them. One of the top reminders that I share with my clients and that have really been coming forward in the last couple weeks, and why I wanted to bring this to Soulful Practices, is because there is magic, there is grace, there is miracles that are happening in every single moment of every single day. Even when we find ourselves feeling like we're lost in a whirlwind of crazy life events or experiences or things that feel like they're pulling us apart like taffy and we're just getting stretched, slammed back together and stretched again. Interwoven into all the different support systems, whether it's the most amazing day in the world that everything literally is shining and feeling like grace and feeling like magic, to the times that we don't. In every single one of those, there are support systems of magic and miracles woven in different forms, shapes, sizes, and packages. And the key to it, the key to experiencing them, is that we have to be willing to look for them, and we also have to be willing to see them, and we have to be willing to engage them. So it's not just enough to say, oh, I believe in magic and miracles, and oh yes, I believe that grace is available to me to support me throughout my day. Is we also have to be willing to see it and to see through the lens where we actually can see the grace and the magic that's around us. And then step two, engage it, right? Because we can see it, we can feel it, we can even hear its calling to us to help support us in that moment. And for example, just the small, like the way the sun feels coming through a window, or looking out at the way it's dancing through the leaves, is just asking for us to pause and breathe, find our feet, feel that exchange and that warmth. Open up to that grace of that moment. And that's the magic. That's the miracle that then fills us up to go back and to quote the fray, right? That in that little bit is the ability for us to recenter ourselves, to presence ourselves, and then take that same presence we find in that moment into the next moment, into the next, into the next. That's magic. That's miracles in everyday life, right? And to do that, though, we have to be willing to engage it through the lens of witnessing magic and miracles. So to do what Hal is asking us to do, which is like have faith in them, it does also help us to really begin to fine tune our senses, our sight, our hearing, the way in which we speak, the way in which we hear what is spoken to us, to dial it in to the channel of miracles and magic so that we can experience them and we can engage them and we can be in exchange with them, right? So I would love to share with you a short example from my life, and that when I started really inviting and getting curious and looking around me, I saw this beauty that is all around. One of the things about magic and miracles to me is that idea that we are deeply held, right? In this world that is of cause and effect, right? And free will. And we have the choice to entertain our reality and to bring that both together. It's, up to us really to say, how do I want to engage that reality? How do I want to see the world? Do I want to see it as a stark place that is dog eat dog and everybody for themselves? And if we can help each other out, great, but nobody's coming, right? Like it's just us against the world. Or do we want to see it that the universe is really, truly, like the Tao says, coming in to bring balance, to bring harmony, to bring wholeness in? And the lens in which we see it is going to be literally the way in which we can feel our lives and engage it. So this spring, I noticed that there were a bunch of volunteer violets that were popping up in these different clumps starting in front of my house. And then I noticed that they went like around the outside edges of my house, of the yard, and then even all the way around the back. And if I connected all the bunches of violets that grew together, it created a beautiful ring of violets around my whole entire house. And I have a long ranch, so it's a really strung out place. And so I was like, wow, that is really amazing. And as I was sitting and meditating with the ring of violets and really feeling into them, I was so grateful because I really, the medicine and the remembrance that they were bringing forward for myself and then for my family, for the land itself, was really about self-expression and comfort and harmonizing and courage to speak truth, courage to be in truth, but in a beautiful way that was soft but yet strong, and a way that soothes and brings healing into and through your speech versus friction and more division. And so violet energy really invites us into remembering first our worth, bringing compassion to ourselves, and then inviting us into how do we want to share our messages? How do we want to express ourselves? And can we do it in a way that brings harmony, balance, wholeness forward with beautiful courage and strength, and yet not that harsh division? And so also as a flower essence, it brings in a literal sense of soothing. It's an anti-inflammatory. It allows the nervous system itself to kind of calm down, step itself back from that fight, fight, or freeze response, and step into more choice, right? And as the violets were around the ring of the house, I was like, wow, I could see how that medicine was there to help support me, my daughters, and then the land itself. And what I noticed is as I began to walk through different spaces, there were pop-up volunteer. Again, we didn't plant them. We didn't put them any place. They've never been there before. I was noticing them down at the indoor around Unbridled Change, where I have the office area and the horses and the places in which we do the equine partnered psychotherapy. There were violets there. As I mentioned it to a friend, she was like, oh my gosh, there's this whole fence line that has all these violets underneath it. As I mentioned it to another one, like, hey, I'm curious, have you noticed extra violets in your world? And she's like, oh, by the mailbox, because she lives in like a apartment complex kind of thing, by the mailbox of it, there's all these violets there that have never been there before. And I just started noticing it as I was going on my walks to different parks and different places. There were these bundles, these little patches of violets that had popped up everywhere. And every time I asked people like, hey, were those violets there before? Every single time it was no. I've never seen them there before. I wonder who planted them, was the curiosity. And I would just smile and kind of have a little gleam in my eye because I was like, the universe, violet energy itself came forward to help harmonize, to help balance, to help support, because we need that energy right now. And to me, that is the magic, right? That is the miracles that can happen as we start to recognize that we are deeply held. We are deeply supported, and we don't always get to see, because violet energy that was willing to commit to these different areas that it was planted in by the universe, that it agreed, that it volunteered to come and bring its medicine, its soul essence to, way before we could see it. underneath the ground before our physical senses could tap in, could consciously connect, could be with the medicine that was there. It was already there. It was already coming in, and it was already bringing that essence forward. And just pause for a minute and really feel in it. It brought me into such a sweet place of tenderness that, wow, here is a being of all these separate parts, quote unquote. You could say that each violet is its own little person. And yet the essence of Violet came together to say, hey, I want to help to soothe the land. I want to help to remind people of their true expression, not the one that's violence, but of violet, of being able to see your own heart, to feel the own expression that wants to come forward in a way that's kind, in a way that's compassionate, a way that has fierce courage and softness all interwoven together. True harmonization, right? And that literally it has spread itself out across the globe, especially in, the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere. It's probably a different plant that has come forward to literally help ground and to bring that message and that essence, that magic forward for all of us, right? Each of us in our own way. And it's there. But how many beings do you think walk past that same beautiful flower, offering that essence, volunteering, showing up there in a miracle way because it wasn't planted, it wasn't engineered. The earth itself brought forward that beautiful essence to be there to support us all, right? And how many people were able to engage with it through consciousness? How many people were able just to glean from it on a subconscious level of it just pumping its beautiful wave into that space? And then how many people are completely nose blind, so to speak, and figuratively blind to that medicine that is there and that energy that is trying to help with the conversations and soothe the worries and clear the communication lines and bring us into choices that allow us to be in expression and in truth at the same time, right? And what I found was really interesting is I asked each person, like, hey, can you go notice that? Each one could feel how that medicine was bubbling forward before I even brought their attention to it. That some part of them knew it was there, right? And that is allowing ourselves to engage with magic and miracles. So let's just take a moment and let's bring in that beautiful violet energy into this space. She wanted to come forward to be shared with all of you. And now I invite you, one, if you are in this hemisphere, is go take a look. See what is available in your spaces that is there to help you, to support you. What plant beings maybe are present and volunteering, or ones that you intentionally maybe just said, hey, I want to maybe bring this into my space. I want to bring some peppermint into my space, or some rosemary, or some lavender, right? Or I want to plant some beautiful pansies this spring. Or, as we're coming in, if you are in the southern hemisphere, as you're coming into that fall element, what is there? What is wanting to be a part of your space as the leaves are changing, as the seasons are changing? What is coming forward for you? And pause and ask, what is the medicine? What is the message? What is the essence? And see if you can witness the magic and the miracles that are present in your space today. To see a level of truth that has always been there, but yet now we're dialing in to that truth. That's the theme for season 3, is like discernment and clarity and being able to really trust our inner knowing, the inner clairs, so to speak. This is part of that channel, is being able to give that value to all beings. Maybe there's some beautiful stone beans or gem beans and rock beans that are in your area. So what is it that wants to call forward to you and to help you witness the magic and the miracle that is present and experience it engage it, just like the violets did for me and for those that I brought it forward to, and now for you. What type of supports are present in your life right now so that you can begin to tune in to bring that discernment to the magic and the miracles that are present. So just take a moment and take a deep breath in and out. And just really set that intention with me this week. That as you travel throughout your week, what magic or miracles are present for you at this time that want to be witnessed, that want to be engaged with? So, for example, that might be the sunlight coming through a window that feels warm and supportive. Are you willing to pause, feel it in and around your body, breathe with it, flow with it? And then take that same warmth and presence that you gained in that moment into the next moment. Are you willing to feel the breeze, the rustling of the trees, the movement of the grass, the sense of this changing season coming forward to you? What are the whispers that as you breathe in and the smell comes in besides maybe seasonal allergies, like what is that message that's coming with the senses into your system? Maybe it is a random moment. Again, magic and miracles are hidden in everyday moments. Yes, there are the big aha kind of like shake us to the core, but most of the time it's in these itty bitty moments. So be on the lookout for random smiles from a stranger, a little hug from a loved one, a moment where you see humanity, compassion, love, magic, miracles reflected in you and around you. So, is there a new plant or a flower in your space that you don't remember planting or volunteering to like put something there and it's just there? Can you recognize the magic of the universe harmonizing to bring that forward, that we are deeply held and supported on a level that we don't even hardly recognize? That's the magic. That's the miracle. Engage it. Allow Reiki energy to be with you in these simple ways, to look for these hidden supports, to see the little magic bombs that are woven in and through your daily experiences. See if you're willing to engage with a voice of gratitude and awareness and open then to the guidance, to the random thoughts that you hear coming from those beings. And see if you can engage. So, from that awareness, see if you're willing to engage your heart and your soul by inviting yourself to slow down, to note that message, and then see how you can bring that message into the next moments. Because the other secret about guidance is it is like there is time component built into guidance. And so when we see something, it is like, or we hear something, or we feel something, it is setting us up for something that's getting ready to encounter us, for us to engage in. And so see if you can start to create what I call the daisy chains of, wow, I just heard that, or I felt that, or I heard this song, or I read this message, and then bam, there was somebody that I could share that with, that I could offer that same message or that awareness to. Like maybe even this podcast is popping in and you're like, wow, miracle, magic, everyday little moments. And then you've run into somebody and say, you know what? I just listened to this podcast. I just felt into this. This is what I'm working on. Maybe this would be helpful for you too. So have some fun with this one. Get curious, engage and enjoy, and what I call that hunt for magic and miracles. This is something that I also do with my girls, and we check in on this like every night. It's like, where was grace today? Like, where did magic show up in your world or miracles show up in your world? And how did it help you with some other part? So really helping them create that connection between this beautiful magic over here helped me be able to show up the way I wanted to in a more trickier situation throughout my day, and a place where I felt lost or cut off from guidance. Like, how did this preloaded beneath the ground, just like the violets didn't just pop up in the last week or so, they've been building, gathering themselves, creating that seed, growing to that place where they could then share themselves and be in that exchange. So I'm really excited to hear how this week goes for you. I'm excited to hear what magic and miracles that you are able to enter into. And remember, for those of us that have faith in it and believe that there is magic and miracles in our life, we are able to experience them. And so today, let's share the magic, let's share the miracles, be the person that helps dial that in, and then let's help ourselves and others experience it too. Offering you light, love, and joy, Michelle Holling-Brooks. See you in the next one. Thank you for listening to Soulful Practices. For more information on how to work directly with me or one of my guests, check out the show notes below. We'd love for you to also let us know what parts of this episode are speaking to you and how this practice is supporting you on your healing and spiritual journey. Please share this podcast with fellow seekers, travelers. Together, we can create a wave of soul-led beings in this world, offering you light, love, and joy on your journey. Michelle Holling-Brooks. Until next time.